y'all, I'm Angie. Welcome to my channel where I do stuff. If you're new here, thank you for joining me, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back. So in today's video, I finally get around to cutting some petrified wood that I've had for years with a tile saw that I've had for almost 2 years. So I want to preface this video by saying that I was brand new at this. I have never done this before, and I've had the saw for 2 years but never used it simply because I was scared. And I know that's a really dumb reason, but that was the reason. So I watched some videos and I read the owner's manual, and then I just had to jump in and do it, right? So I know I made some mistakes and things didn't turn out perfectly, but I'm happy with the way things turned out for my first try, and I expect to get better at this as time goes on. Everything you need to know about this video, including my website and all my socials, will be linked in the description box below. So let's just go ahead and get into it. As I'm sure you can imagine, I cannot leave the audio in on this particular video because the saw was just unbearably loud. So this particular saw I did get from Harbor Freight. It is a Chicago Electric 10-inch wet tile saw, and it has a sliding table, as you can see. It has a water pump in it that does 3 gallons per minute. And I also got the stand as well. The blade is a Harbor Freight diamond blade. I don't remember what brand it is. In fact, I think the saw is on clearance at Harbor Freight right now. So if you're interested, you may want to go grab one of those. And I thought the attachment on the sled part would kind of help hold the wood very still. Turns out it's just in the way, and so I had to move it in order to complete the cut on this piece. All the wood that I am cutting today is from Brazos County, Texas, from the Middle Eocene, which is 47.8 to 38 million years ago, and it is part of the Yegua Formation. One thing I noticed right off the bat is that this wood is very hard. I mean, I'm not being an idiot. Like, yes, I realize it's a rock, it's petrified, but it's very hard for what it is. In the Brazos Valley, you will find several different types of petrified wood, some that look very weathered and like bleached out, and that stuff cuts like butter. You'll see that in a second. But the regular wood we find that is brightly colored is very, very difficult. So I pretty much just let the saw do the work. Obviously, I do push on it a little bit, put enough pressure to get it to cut, but I'm not forcing it or putting any kind of bind into it because it's just going to take time. You'll notice I went and grabbed my earplugs because holy, that saw is loud, and it was causing my tinnitus to be off the charts painful. So I went to get my shooting earplugs, and they really helped. So I just went ahead and made several cuts on this one piece, and the color is fantastic. With each cut, there is a little bit of a spur that sticks out from the very end, the very last part of the cut, and that will grind off, and I can get rid of that for polishing. I do plan on polishing all these pieces, but that's a whole other video. So something that's really cool about petrified wood is that the different colors of wood are derived from different types of minerals in the wood as it petrifies. So reds, oranges, yellows, and like tans, and pinks and purples, all of that comes from different types of iron. White is typically like quartz. Blue is like copper and iron. And black is carbon manganese. Gray is carbon manganese as well. Green is like copper and iron and chromium, I guess. And so anytime you see those colors in petrified wood, you're seeing something that has those elements in it. And I'm really wondering how much that affects the hardness and the density of the wood as I try to cut it, because I'm telling you, this black, well, I guess it wasn't really black, but the darker wood was much harder to cut than the first piece. And of course, it also could have been that the blade was getting duller, because you're going to want to wait till the end to see what happens there. But apparently petrified wood is like a 7 on the Mohs scale of hardness out of 10. So yeah, it's pretty hard. So I continued to make just a couple more cuts on this one, and then I decided to switch to a different type of wood. If you're enjoying today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, because it really does help the YouTube algorithm and it lets me know how I'm doing. This white colored wood came from a specific creek here in the Bryan College Station area, and most of the wood that I have found in this creek looks very similar to this. Very weathered, very bleached. And as you can see, the saw sliced right through it. It's very porous. It smells different. I don't know if that even makes any sense to people who don't like rockhound, but this particular wood smells different when it's wet and after it's been cut than the other types of wood. But it just went through the saw very, very easily, and it's not as solid or as heavy as the other pieces. A lot of the wood that I found in that creek is very chalky. A lot of it is very flaky, and not a lot of it's opalized though. It looks like it should be, but it's not. And I just need to do more research for myself to understand as much as I can about the process of permineralization and the amount of time and pressure and how the wood's condition at the time of the event, like how all that plays into a finished product. If y'all know of any kind of resources where I can learn more about that, besides just looking up scientific papers, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to read more about it. So this is where things started to get a little complicated because, you know, I thought it's a brand new diamond blade, it's a brand new saw, I'm just gonna cut wood all day long if that's what I want to do. And turns out that's not quite how it went down. This particular piece, I don't know if it was just a little bit more hard than the others, or I mean, you can see at the end of this clip that I actually like run my finger across the blade and it was almost smooth. So I really did wear this blade down with only like 5 pieces of wood. Now I have been told that you can sharpen these diamond blades with a file. I haven't tried doing that yet. I have kind of like a repetitive motion injury in my wrist, and so there's no way I could hold it to be able to do it right now. But yeah, so I don't know if you can tell by looking, but the water dripping on the saw also started slowing down. It wasn't flowing the same way as it was in the beginning, and that will burn up your saw. So I turn it off, turn it back on, and it starts flowing again. But I don't know if there was enough like slurry kind of material in the water to make the pump work slower or how that was working. But I ended up just turning everything off. The piece of wood that you see here did not get completely cut. It is still halfway done sitting in my garage, and that will be for another day. But don't worry, I'm not giving up. I'm just giving up for right now. I will be back at it very soon. Well, y'all, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, then perhaps you'll consider subscribing, because I would love to see you back here next week when I do more stuff. Bye!